I've been living in a paradise ever since you made advances on me. I've been living where the food is free.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight.
Daddy, starting!
Salve galera, Cantox, mais um vídeo aqui, test drive, dessa vez aqui de novo no Not for Broadcast, dessa vez para DLC de Timeloop. Vamos ver qual é dessa DLC, espero que gostem, e é isso aí, vamos lá.
Are you saying that advance have cured death?
Jump off!
We were still vassal slaves were just in prettier cages.
Oh, Megan. We're only getting started. Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I told you 1,000 times, Chester. The number of blind dates I've been on when no one turned up.
I've been living in a paradise. It's awfully nice if you don't think twice. I've been living in a paradise ever since you made advances on me. Winston! Lovely of you to volunteer for an all-nighter. I'll be with you for the first section, but then I'm off. Got tickets for Smiling Toots Johnson and his jazz fandango. Usual stuff for this one. Keep the show on the road and keep the edit snappy. Should be a big night.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one has turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why it's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you, somebody else.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Don't like it. Gives me heebie-jeebies.
What does science?
Don't like it.
What doesn't Colin like?
Science, apparently.
Oh, good job there's none here then.
Jeremy, this is Dr. Charles Magnus.
Is he though? Jeremy Donaldson, professional cynic.
All the best minds are.
He's just being modest. He's also a curmudgeon.
Your word of the day calendar.
Sorry I'm late, phone call. Professor Magnus.
Doctor, apparently.
Either is fine.
Unless you need surgery.
I beg your pardon?
It's time for a special event.
Going in 5,
Schedule
4,
away for a night of
3.
smiles with Jeremy Donaldson.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chantlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective have been working on a secret project.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, live on Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
We'll be in and out the schedule throughout the evening with our team of reporters standing by up and down the country to report live on whether the device has brought a smile to your faces.
We'll have guests from the world of science, politics and entertainment, and of course those all-important results.
So don't move that dial, stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you The Night of Smiles.
welcome back. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass experiment of its type. But first, let's meet the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Hello.
Charles Magnus.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. You're the leader of the Happiness Collective, as I understand.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So how does that work then, being the leader of a collective?
Well, I suppose...
Dr. Magnus, how does your Euphoria device work?
Oh, that's simple. I just get my assistant Chester to push the big red button.
Yes, but what does it actually do?
It makes people happier, Mr. Donaldson.
Yes, and how does it do?
Well, some of that information is proprietary, but I could try and explain the basics.
Oh, well, we've not got long now, Doc, so try not to get too into the weeds.
Well, to put it simply, everything is vibration. Everything is vibrating. A particle is also a wave, and a wave is, if you like, a note. And we all vibrate at different notes depending on our mood. Happier people vibrate at a higher frequency than sad people.
Is that true? How are we measuring that?
In music, there's a concept called resonance. When a note on a piano is played, corresponding strings also sound. They vibrate in resonance. Are you following me so far?
Yes, I have an O-level in music.
And physics?
Yes, in both. Yes.
Well, the Euphoria device works in much the same way. The machine generates a note that represents happiness, and all the people and the animals resonate with that note and feel happier, noticeably, measurably. Well, at least that's the hope.
So, what you're saying is that for unprecedented amounts of public money, running into the tens of millions, you've built a giant piano that only plays one note.
Yes, but it's a very powerful note. And this is the only instrument that can play it.
Wow, there is less than a minute to go now, so while we go and get set up with Chester and yourself over at the Euphoria device, we can go live to the new Advanced HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Advanced, Julia and I just wanted to wish all of you the very best of luck with tonight's groundbreaking experiment.
When this project landed on my desk, I just knew it deserved to be funded. After all, what could possibly be better than increased happiness?
Now, I'll admit, I was a little skeptical, but the lab results are promising, and I'm reliably informed it'll even work on this estate.
So it's a big well done from us to Dr. Magnus and the entire team at the Happiness Collective.
So as my old man used to say, it's time to stop twatting about and get the gimlet frothing.
Wow. Good luck, everybody. Back to the studio.
Fantastic, the Prime Minister's there, and of course, without the funding from the Assets and Wealth Fund...
We'd still be making prototypes out of sticks.
And you are Chester.
Chester Mims, 24. My allergies include nuts, macrame furniture, and liquids with a viscosity over 200 centipoise. I've been Dr. Magnus's assistant for...
3 very long years.
Yes, he calls me his right-hand man.
I do not.
Well, that's enough lab banter for now. Let's see if this ridiculous contraption actually works, shall we?
Yes, I think we can get a counter on the screen. And we're going in 10, 9, 8, 7, come on, Jeremy.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can sense movement down there. I know you're stuck in this with me. Now, it's just a guess, but I think time itself has frozen. However, when it did, this press in case of emergency button the scientist gave me started flashing. And I think it corresponds with the one you have down there in the broadcast room, on that weird-looking machine to your left. I'll press mine now, and let's see if that gets yours working. Lovely of you to volunteer for an all-nighter. I'll be with you for the first section, but then I'm off. Got tickets for Smiling Toots Johnson and his Jazz Fandango. Does this all seem a little familiar to you, Alex? For the last few hours, I've been having a weird sensation of deja vu. Strange. Maybe I need a snack? Well, good luck with the show.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one has turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why it's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here.
Hang on, this is extremely familiar.
Not you, sorry.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
I don't like it. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
What does science?
Don't like it.
What doesn't Colin like?
Science, apparently.
Oh, good job that's done here then.
Jeremy, this is Dr. Charles Magnus.
Is he though? Jeremy Donaldson, professional cynic.
All the best minds are.
He's just being modest. He's also a curmudgeon.
Your word of the day calendar.
Oh, sorry I'm late. Phone call. Professor Magnus.
Doctor, apparently.
Either is fine.
Unless you need surgery.
I beg your pardon?
It's time for a special event.
Going in 5,
Schedule
4,
away for a night of
3.
smiles with Jeremy Donaldson.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event
was the
hosted
13th
by
of
your
March.
National Nightly News team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chantlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness
Okay, we are definitely doing the same thing again,
They
Winston.
claim their
And I didn't enjoy it much the
device
first
will
time.
raise overall
Much as I hate to admit it, because, and I want to make this absolutely clear, I hate science fiction. I think something has gone wrong with the chronological order of reality, and we appear to be repeating ourselves. If only there were a name for such a phenomenon, when time seems to be looping. There must be some sort of
Don't
snappy.
move that dial, stick with Channel 1 or
Can't think of
we'll bring
anything.
you
Maybe it'll come to me later.
Smiles.
Got it. We'll call this a time loop. Brilliant name, Robert. You've done it again. I should have that trademark. Yes, time loop. Time loop. Time. It's boring, isn't it, Winston? The event, I mean, not the name, which is snappy and totally original. But you know, this, just watching the same thing. Winston, I have a big red button up here. I'm going to push it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so your button also stops time. Interesting. Right, we've all read enough science fiction nonsense to understand what's happening here. We're clearly going to keep repeating this day again and again until we find a way to break the loop. God, I hope we don't have to go on a journey of self-discovery full of profound insights that lead to personal growth. I have a gig to get to. Leave this with me. I have a brilliant idea. Restart the loop by pressing that big red button again and leave the rest to me. Winston, back with me now. While I was waiting for you to get back to me in the loop, I enacted the solution to our little time-getting-stuck conundrum. There is absolutely no way that button will be pressed again, so the loop won't repeat, and the ghastly problem has been nipped in the bud before anything too ridiculous happens. I don't want to brag here, Alex, but the solution I found is as elegant as it is simple. A lesser mind would probably have struggled even to conceive of such a notion, but to me, Bob Bozeman, it was as obvious as wearing a tie on a Sunday afternoon. I have, and this is the brilliant part, unplugged the machine. Now, watch and learn.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why that's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
It's all going to plan.
Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
There's something wrong here.
No, it's fine, Colin.
You can feel it. Is this like the day that you could feel that the mayor of Fiddleshire was some sort of bird person?
No, this is different. Listen. Here we go.
No! My plan! It was foolproof!
There we go. Goodness me.
Colin,
focus on the task at hand. We'll look at the problem together this time, Alex, and I'm sure we'll come up with the solve. So, I've given you this newfangled pad of mine. It was a gift from the Happiness Collective. Hopefully you noticed it last loop. Apparently, when I write up here, you'll be able to see it down there, which is brilliant. But as far as the science behind it goes, it may as well be magic as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I'll write down some ideas for plans, and if you just select them on your pad, I'll make sure we implement them for the next loop. Give it a go now. Can't press the button if they aren't doing the experiment, and I've got the perfect... I know what you're thinking, Alex. What possible merit could the Cat Football Cup have being on Channel 1? And of course, the answer is, they were available and it gets us out of this damn time loop.
And now on Channel 1, in a change to our advertised schedule, Jeremy Donaldson and Megan Wolfe are taking a deep dive into the wonderful world of sport.
Good evening, viewers of Channel 1, and welcome to this national news.
Tonight, for one night only, we're bringing you everything you need to know about cup finals.
Coaches, managers, and even the star players. Oh, guess what? I was going to what?
Our roving team of reporters have been tucked away up and down the country to bring you live reactions and to bring you live reactions.
And, of course, that line will have all the action of the match itself.
So don't go changing that channel. It's going to be. Perfect. delighted to be joined by the two coaches of tonight's cat football final. And I believe you're also the managers. And I believe you're also the managers.
And I would imagine most of the spectators. And I would
Let's start with
imagine
you.
most of the spectators.
Felicity, let's start with you.
Felicity, Snippety Whippet. I am the manager, coach, owner, the manager, spiritual guide, owner, spiritual guide and the muse for my Smallington Big Paws. Smallington
That's a name that gives you pause. That's a name that gives you pause.
It's a family name, actually. The Big Paws have legacy, unlike those so-called fluffers. Unlike those
the Slim Town Fluffers applied their skills against superior teams and always achieved proud ends. Tonight will be no different. Proud ends. Tonight will be no different. Expected to message
Felicity. Felicity, as well you know, you putrid, as well you know.
Oh, well, let's just take a moment to breathe. Let's just take a moment to breathe. But let's try and keep a friendly competitors. But let's try and keep a friendly.
Of course, apology. Montgomery Falls, manager of the Montgomery Falls, soon to be manager of the Fluffers, soon to be proud fondler. A man more sinned against than sinning. A man more sinned against than sinning.
The Big Paws will hold the cup. We've been training all season, and we're not slowing down at the finish line. We're not slowing down. You stand as much chance of winning the cup as much chance of winning the stars of winning a beauty pageant. Stars of winning a beauty pageant.
You know Professor Tiddles only sprouted that blemish because you. Tiddles only sprouted that blemish because you.
I would never. I would never harm a cat. Graceful, elegant, everything you should strive to be.
I think the strive to be. Performed in my mess, then you would beg to disagree. Besides, you would beg to disagree. Besides, your centre forward has mange.
Have you glanced at your team recently? Have you glanced at your team recently? Fancy footwork and their teamwork is so chaotic. It's like playing against so chaotic. It's like playing against dogs.
You take that back.
In fact, I'll go further. In fact, your team is lazy, disorganized, disorganized. You'd have done better to get them all. You'd have done better to get them all.
We seem to be a whisker away from a fist fight here.
Will you stop with the cat pun? Will you stop with the cat pun?
We could all just calm down. I concur. We could all just calm down.
I've got too many of these. Meow. I've got too many of these.
So, I have a question. Both of you. I have a question. They're pointless, really, aren't they?
So, I was right. It turns out that when I turned down the Euphoria experiment for Channel 1, Channel 3 decided they'd make room, and the experiment went ahead as planned. And, well, unless they have their own Alex Winston to press that red button, we may be stuck here forever. But assuming we're not, let's talk about next time round. I suppose if we're going to be stuck here, we may as well get to know each other. We'll start with me. Did you know that I like mushrooms? Also, things like the feel of dew on your face in the hills of the Cotsdowns, or a brisk autumn morn. Although, to be honest, some of those I can kind of take or leave. Ooh, here's another one. Did you know that I love the sound of smooth jazz? If you ask me, very little in this world can beat an afternoon alone with the rhythms. Listen, I have a question for you. Do you like the feeling when a man you don't know particularly well brushes against you in the corridor and suddenly you feel a stirring in the... Actually empty the studio. fire that cleaner, but in the meantime, I have a better idea, and it's guaranteed to work.
And now, on Channel 1, it's time for a special event. We're throwing the regular schedule away for a night of smiles with Jeremy Donaldson and Megan Wolf.
Good evening. It's March the 13th, 1995. It's March the 13th, 1995. And you join us for a national nightly news special event. Tightly named team have been building a machine which they claim will raise overall happiness levels Sounds ludicrous to me. Megan, sounds ludicrous to me.
Jeremy, I am here with Chester Mims. Jeremy, I am here with Chester Mims, Dr. Magnus's assistant.
Right-hand man. Calls me.
Right-hand man.
I do not. Calls me. It does.
I do not.
Well, Chester, without any further ado, let's unveil this euphoria device. I'm excited, actually. You excited, Chester? Okay, let's go for it, everybody. Okay, let's go for it, everybody. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, for goodness sake, Chester. Oh,
It's a little larger than
sake, Chester.
It's a little larger than anticipated.
Upwards.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Never mind.
Upwards.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Never mind.
God, my eye! God, my eye!
What's happened?
I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened.
Well, it appears we'll be having a change of schedule here tonight. There's another experiment we can get up and running. Perhaps there's another experiment we can get up and running. Pancakes. We can see if work out exactly how much stupid there is. Work out exactly how much
We're cancelling the experiment?
Of course not,
We're cancelling the experiment?
Of course not, Chester. It's fine. It's
I
fine.
didn't see how we
It's fine. It's fine. Device. We have another laboratory in Tilbury.
Back at the laboratory.
I'm sure Gerald is watching this now, and I'm sure Gerald is watching this now. He was expecting there might be some teething problems. He can just expecting there might be some teething problems. He can just. Gerald, if you're watching, we will fire it up now. Gerald, if you're watching, we will fire it up now, please.
Well, it appears the experiment will be proceeding anyway. The experiment will be proceeding anyway. Here's hoping we'll crack a smile sometimes. Here's hoping we'll crack a smile sometimes.
Only takes a few seconds to charge up the new device, and then Gerald will just charge up the new device.
Okay, this is starting to get irritating. I have tickets for Smiling Toots Johnson, for God's sake. I'll be damned if I'm going to miss it. So what have we learned? We can't cancel the show in any way, or they'll do it on another channel. We can't break the device. They'll just use the backup. So, if we can't nobble the machine, we'll have to nobble the show somehow. I've got a few options to consider. We can put a guard on the machine so it can't be used, or we could change up the hosts and see if we can break the show that way. Or, I suppose, we could let everyone know what's going on and see if we can stop it happening again. Which do you want to do, Winston?
Bem, galera, é isso aí. Fizemos aqui o test drive do Not for Broadcast, The Timeloop DLC. É uma DLC até que interessante, assim, envolvendo bastante viagem no tempo e até, para dizer, uma própria questão interna, assim, entre os bastidores para saber como resolver esse problema, mas, no geral, se você gosta muito do Not for Broadcast e quer aventuras a mais, eu acho que a DLC vale a pena. mas você tem que gostar do jogo base. Eu vou deixar o link aí para vocês, se vocês se interessarem em comprar. Recomendo bastante, assim, se você é fã desse tipo de jogo. E é isso aí, galera. Agradeço a desenvolvedora por ter mandado a DLC e o jogo base. E é isso aí, galera. Também tem outras DLCs se vocês quiserem jogar. Mas é isso aí, galera. Quem tiver aí, não esquece de deixar aquele like lá e compartilhar pra gente para dar aquela força assim, se você for inscrito. Caso queira ajudar o canal, tem sistema de membros e também valeu demais. E é isso aí. Nos vemos então em um próximo vídeo. Falou!